welcome to a brand new video. It's me, Aline. For those of you who are new here, my whole deal is basically I'm a barista by day and a writer by night. Just kidding, I usually do both of those in the daytime because I am not a night owl and will be hard asleep by 10 p.m. This vlog should be a fun one. It's basically already summer here in New York City. I don't know how. Where did the time go? Not quite sure. But in this vlog, I have a couple of little writing things that I'm accomplishing. I'm finishing up my writing class, which you guys know that I have been in for the last 6 weeks, and I'm submitting for a writing residency. Cross your fingers for me that I actually get it. If not, you know, nothing personal, but I'll probably take it pretty hard either way, because that's just a little bit of me. I also take my US citizenship test in this video because if you are also, again, new here, I am from Chile and I have not been naturalized yet. I'm actually just still a permanent resident. I know that I'm gonna get a lot of comments already about the muffin recipe in today's video. Please don't ask, the muffins were awful. They looked great to the eye, but the taste was bad, so I'm actually not gonna be sharing that recipe anytime soon with anybody. So that's just a little controversial take over here. I don't want to make this intro too long, so let's just get into the video. Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. It's a Friday for me. I don't know what it is for you, but it's a Friday for this little guy. I'm up pretty early, I say that, but it is 8:40, so I did try to wake up at 7:30, but I only recently opened my eyes. But I have done some important things. I called the super because our faucet in our kitchen is leaking, and it's not just doing like a drip, it's also doing like an ooze. Yeah, it's a whole thing that started yesterday, and sometimes, you know, making those phone calls always feels like you're doing a big nag, especially since I love our super. But I was brave, so I am patting myself on the back for doing that and getting that done. Last night was my final writing class, so that feels nice to have finished and kind of, oh, hi! That feels good to be done with and put away. While I was in class, I basically wrote 10,000 words, so 10,000 words, 6 weeks. I feel like I could have maybe written a little more, but you know, I am a busy girly and I can't say that the last 6 weeks have been my most quiet ones. So I'm learning to have a lot of patience with my creativity and realize that as long as it's consistent, that is the most important part. And I think that that is the most positive indicator that I could have success one day, is that it's this consistent thing that I'm working on and honing. I'm also recently in the process of applying for a writing residency, a little small one upstate, almost near the Catskills. It's an LGBTQ residency, and there's one in the summer and one in the fall, and they only accept 4 writers for each, so my odds are decent-ish. Anyway, I'm getting that application all done today. The application is done, never mind. The pages, I have to submit a page sample, and they have a limit of 25 pages, so I'm just gonna submit my first chapter. I recently have taken a second look at my first chapter for my writing class, so I'm reworking some of the first chapter, and I really love it. Actually, it's so much more like rich and exciting, and it feels like full of plot, which I think is something that I struggled with originally. My writing teacher, her name is Shailene Gupta, and I think she's in the process right now of having a YA novel submitted to editors. Her agent says that the most common mistake that people make with their books is that they have a situation rather than a plot. That was the most like mind-blowing quote that I've ever heard in my entire life, and it has radically shifted the way that I think about the project that I'm working on. And anyway, I feel like I reworked my first chapter with that advice in mind, and it's been incredibly helpful. Somebody in my last workshop described the book as Hunger Games meets Harry Potter meets Spirited Away, and honestly that was such a stroke to my ego and the most flattering thing I've ever heard in my entire life. And lastly, I went online today and finally adjusted my payment method for rent. Last year, in like the second half of the year, they started attaching a bunch of fees to my Visa card, and I just thought that that was the way that everyone was paying rent, and then I realized that I could just put in my banking information and then I wouldn't have these bunch of fees. It like raised my rent by like 250 bucks. It was crazy, and I just thought that was normal. And then when I was home for the holidays, everyone was like, that can't be right, and I was like, you're probably right about that. So I finally went and adjusted that online, so I'm actually good to go, which is great because my rent for this apartment is actually pretty low. I pay $1,100. There's gonna be two kinds of people. There's gonna be people who are gooped that I live in an apartment in the Upper West Side and they pay that much, and there's also gonna be people who think that that's an obscene amount of money, and I just think that transparency is important. So I pay $1,100 to live here. This is currently the last year of our lease. We were on a 2-year lease and we had a 1-year lease before that. We're a little nervous about what they might raise rent to, but we'll just have to see, because last time they were really open to negotiation and wanted to keep us here. We also live on a 6th floor walk up, so it's the kind of thing that even though it is in a great location, it is less desirable, especially for families, people with young children, and because this is a 3-bedroom, that's usually who the main market would be, but nobody wants to walk up 6 flights of stairs with like a toddler or a stroller. So we are crossing our fingers that we'll be able to stay for another year. We become so attached to the area. This building also feels so homey. Everybody, I feel like, knows somewhat everybody, and our neighbors also stay put for ages. So it's the kind of thing where you really get to know kind of who you live around and who you live with, and it's just very wholesome. So we do not want to be leaving. Stay tuned to see what we get word of in November about the rent raise. But either way, at least I'm paying my fair amount and not paying some sick like $1,245 anymore, which was a rough few months. Yeah, so I'm currently gonna get a little writing in. I have a phone call with my writing teacher. That should be fun. So I'm looking forward to that. It's just the last nail in the coffin of writing class. Later we're gonna be meeting up with our friend Veronica and going to a local coffee shop, and then in the evening I have such a fun night planned with Ellis, my partner. By the way, I don't think I've ever said this like formally. Elise goes by both Ellis and Elise. Ellis is a nickname that like all of their friends use, so it's kind of the thing that sometimes I even forget that Elise is named Elise. I always just call them Ellis. If you're ever confused, Elise goes by Ellis and Elise, so neither is wrong. Anyway, much love. Can't wait to get the morning going here. I'm pointing to my laptop, and talk soon. Oh no, you're so fine. Thank you so much for being so flexible. That's so kind. I think that what I'm excited about is the idea of having the first draft done and being able to go through and take out the parts that clearly were helpful for me in terms of like character building or then relationship building, and find a way to like composite everything so it's tighter. But I think I'm resenting my method of having to write everything out first. But that's actually very helpful to be reminded of those word counts, because you know I have been dedicating some years to this, so as much as it's a passion project, I'd also love to be able to sell it someday, and if not, on to the next. But so the reminder to look at those page counts, I think is almost, that structure helps my brain for some reason. So it's like I gotta find a way to be economical with the space on the page. Hey guys, so it's a little bit later in the day and me and Michelle are about to head out to go to Daily Provisions, which is, fun fact, where I used to work when I first lived here the second time around. So when we first moved back in January of 2021, that's where I worked. And although it was not the perfect fit employment-wise, it was delicious. And I miss the food, I miss the drink all the time. So we're gonna go and work there together. Veronica hopefully will be meeting up with us, but she's kind of having a stressful work day, so let be and let God, as I never say. Hopefully she'll show her face, but if not, totally fine. That's life. My call with my writing teacher went really well, which feels super fun to say and also to experience. I am feeling pretty good. Yeah, so we're just gonna hit the road because honestly, the apartment air is getting a little stuffy. Our super did come by and fix the sink too, so now we are truly free to roam wherever we like. Me and Michelle are gonna go and do some co-working together. I really want to finish up this submission for my writing residency so I don't have to worry about it this weekend, and that'll actually probably do a lot for my self-confidence to get that in and squared away. So feeling pretty fun, pretty fresh. I'm wearing a new little outfit combo here. Oh, hi. Hi there. Hi. See, look, you look beautiful. Michelle was looking at old vlogs this morning and said that she looked haggard now. Make some noise in the comments telling her how beautiful her skin and overall vibe is. I just feel like the transition from 25 to 23. I don't know if any of y'all look back on pictures of you during the pandemic and you're like, wow, I was a bouncy faced child, but it's hit me hard lately. And you goose, you look amazing. Michelle's like, oh, time has been unkind. So excited for our work day today. Me too. So this is the outfit today. I'm wearing my favorite linen pants from Old Navy. This is also, you guessed it, from Old Navy. And I put underneath this collared shirt from Goodwill because I saw somebody do it on Pinterest and I kind of liked the way it looked. So I wanted to be comfortable, but I also wanted to show that I had some kind of personality and style. So I went with this. I'm really liking the way it looks actually, so pretty cute. Hi everybody, so it is, I'm sorry, ABBA is too loud, give me 1 second. It's currently the day after what you guys just saw, and I am actually done with my closing shift here at my coffee shop, which is why I'm talking to you from this deserted room. I have a little tea here, and I actually think I'm gonna take advantage of the fact that I'm here a little later and just, and I think I'm gonna review the pages that I'm submitting for my writing residency, just so I don't have to do anything tomorrow other than enjoy my day with Michelle. Last night was super fun, but I have been feeling a little burnt out today just because I'm very sleep sensitive. Like, if I get a little bit less sleep than my usual, 7 to 9 hours is usually my average, and if I go a little bit less than that, like, my brain just kind of starts freaking out. It's not very cute. I'm definitely gonna just like take this moment to decompress by myself, enjoy like the fact that I have this space by myself, and just write a little bit. I think that that will feel really good. Good morning. Today is a really exciting day for me. I am going to my citizenship interview. For those of you who aren't aware, me and Michelle are immigrants. We immigrated from Chile in 2008, and I am the last member of the family who wasn't/isn't a naturalized citizen. So I'm gonna go downtown and get my little interview done. I'm really nervous for some reason. I've had kind of a stressful week, but I'm still really excited. Lots of nerves, lots of kind of spookier feelings, but I'm feeling still really lucky, and I'm really excited at the prospect of being able to vote in the next election. It's something I've never been able to do. I'm gonna feed the cat because she's howling, and then I'm gonna get going. So come along with me. This should be a fun time. I probably can't record in any of the government buildings, and I'm not even gonna try to, but I'll talk to you guys afterwards. So I'm back at the house now after my citizenship test. I did pass, huge news. I did trip up on one question, which was which war did Eisenhower serve in, which quite frankly, I'm astounded is a question. I don't know why Eisenhower gets special treatment in this thing called life, because it's one of the only questions on the test that is super hyper specific to a president who wasn't like founding father adjacent. Forgive me if I'm mistaken, but is Eisenhower even on any money? Like, why do I have to know what war he served in? If you guys were curious, it is World War I. I did get it right, but I did correct myself halfway through. I feel like I picked up on her body language and I went, World War II? No, one. You know, I did get it right in the end, but it was a big spook. There are also 27 amendments in the Constitution. So if you are somebody who lives in the United States and you start taking it for granted ever, ask yourself on a random day, how many amendments are in the Constitution? It was actually kind of awful. The beginning, the first part was very stressful at first, just because I heard the guards say that Tuesdays are the busiest days of the week for this process, which, sure, just a tidbit to know. And there were a lot of people. I mean, go figure, it's New York City and a lot of people are seeking to obtain their naturalization, but then there was also the ICE line at the same entrance, and there was just like two lines. People who had appointments for their naturalization and then people who had appointments to see a judge for their ICE appointments. That's Michelle. And it was just very sad, you know, because the energy is so different. A lot of people, you know, are being told like, no, you can't bring your kids in, and like things like that, which, you know, is probably very hard to do when you're like a single parent who doesn't have childcare, and like you don't know everybody's story, but you definitely can take an educated guess sometimes. Some people have also like worn their like literally like their best clothes. It's a very complicated feeling to be having, you know. Obviously, like, you have so much luck and so much privilege, especially like me in a white body, somebody who speaks the way that I do and presents the way that I do. Yeah, I found myself like very stressed and very sad when I had to sit down in my little entry room waiting zone. It just leaves me feeling a real certain way about it all. I feel very lucky to have had the access that I've had in this thing called life. But it definitely makes me want to, I don't know, like one day, I think that I have to wait a couple years into my naturalization before I can start like sponsoring people who are looking to get their green cards, but it's something that I would really love to do. I feel very passionate about undocumented workers or people here on specific visas. I think I would just love to do some work in that area one day, you know, because there's lots of room in this country. With that out of the way, I went and got a cheeky coffee from Birch Coffee. There's a new location that opened in Tribeca, so it was like a 6-minute walk away from where I ended up getting out after I passed my test. And my friend Ingy was working, and he is my partner's roommate, and so it was a lot of fun. So I ended up getting to have a free coffee and a free muffin, and it felt very cute to be able to talk to someone so close after it happened, to run into them in the city. It's just nice to be a few years in now. I think I've spoken about this before. It feels really, really fun to be able to go places in the city and to run into people. From what I've been used to, that stuff only happens in small towns, and turns out community is an overarching theme. I think that people can sometimes really sterilize New York, especially since it's such a big like tourist destination. You know, it's a lot of people's like hometown and the place that they grew up and the place that they live and build community and friendships and families. So it's really nice to start having feelings of that of my own. It's very cute and very wholesome. Birdie, who's beautiful? Birdie's poking her head in and out around the roses. I'm gonna show you. Birdie! Birdie! Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. So anyway, I came home, obviously, because that's where I am now. And me and Michelle filmed some work that we're doing with Brooke Linen. Not for partnership on any video, it's a separate thing, just for them, just for Brookie. You know, that's on exclusive content. Needless to say, after all that, I am so tired. I'm not even done. I have to change my sheets and create a whole cinematic experience of my sheets being changed, which will be fine. And I feel very blessed to have that as work that I have to do, because God knows it's like pretty easy work. But I'm also really tired. I haven't been getting more than like 7 hours, 6 hours of sleep every night. And for some reason, my coffee job hasn't scheduled me for 2 days off in a row in 2-3 weeks, and I'm really beginning to feel it. So I have to send an email being just like, hey, stop scheduling me like this, because I've told you before, I hate it. They usually are pretty good at listening to me, but you know, sometimes you have to be very firm with your employers about your boundaries, because if not, if you give an inch, they take a whole mile. They said, she hasn't complained in a while. Maybe she forgot that she set this boundary. I want a weekend just like everybody else, especially since I don't just work at my coffee shop. I also have to make aesthetically pleasing videos of my bedding. That does take a lot out of a guy. I feel like I'm rambling now. I'll just tell you what I'm doing for the rest of the day, I guess, while I have you here in this cute little setup with my cutie little gallery wall, stained glass lamp, and big clock. So for the rest of the day, I'm planning on taking it easy. Luckily, it's only 12:30. I've gotten a lot of stuff done early in the morning. So the rest of the day, make my bed, change sheets, make the room. I also want to do a little closet organization. Unfortunately, it has come that time where I simply have to donate a ton of clothes in order to make space for other clothes, because nothing fits. And when I can't put stuff away, I just leave it in bags under my bed after I pick it up from the laundry, which is a terrible habit that I used to do when I was still only 21. And now, you know, I'm 25. My frontal cortex has developed and I know better. So hopefully I'll get some organization done, but I also want to make sure I have a lot of time to take it easy. I have some leftovers in the fridge that I'm going to turn into a cutie lunch, and then I am going to bake blueberry Earl Grey muffins. I got all of the supplies yesterday to anticipate baking. I've been trying to bake for fun a little bit more this year. I used to bake all the time when I was a kid, all through high school, all through college, and it's tough. It's tough to bake in adulthood because it doesn't serve as much of a purpose as cooking. And I love to cook and it's a huge passion of mine, but baking was definitely like my first love. I feel like I haven't been baking as much because I deem it like not as useful. And I think that that might be like grubby, toxic, productive thinking. So I want to start baking a little bit more, especially since I feel, and then after that, again, I just want to lie down. We are also going to meet up at 5 p.m. for a after dinner drink with our bestie Veronica, who recently moved to the Bronx, which is very exciting for her but devastating for us because she used to live literally like 15 minutes away, and a true 15-minute commute, like not even like just the bus or the train was 15 minutes, but like 15 minutes door to door, and I miss that proximity. But we've been making such a big effort to see each other still, which I feel really proud about. So we're gonna be meeting up for happy hour with Michelle and Veronica. Also, we're gonna go have drinks at Time and Tonic, which is my favorite place to grab a cocktail on the Upper West Side. It's so, so, so good. People here, I feel like, tend to go to Tiki Chick for cocktails, especially spring and summertime. But to me, Time and Tonic will always have my heart because their cocktails are just better. While Tiki Chick, they give you like this big goblet of like pineapple juice with a maraschino cherry, and it's kind of intimidating to guzzle all that down. No, Time and Tonic is king. So if you're ever in the area. And then Ellis, my partner, is having a little American celebration for me because I passed my citizenship test. So I will not be taking the vlog camera there. I will not be vlogging the final hours of my evening, but they are preparing a little American feast in the form of LA versus Chicago style hot dogs, and we're having a compare and contrast ranking night. And I have heard rumors that there will be an American flag cake, which is so funny. It's giving camp. It gives me like full-on goosebumps because that is so cute, and I'm so excited. It was so thoughtful. I'm screaming. It should be a fun night for me. I'm just gonna make sure that I get lots of soothing time this afternoon because you guys know me, or I at least would hope you do at this point, but I'm actually quite introverted. So even though I'm big boisterous energy over here, and you know, I did stand up for like a year and a half, I do really get burnt out easily.
Love you, kid.
Aw, I love you too. Have a great haircut.
Can't wait for our drinkies.
I know. Are you coming back before then?
Yes, I should be back by 3.
Okay, cool. Bye.
Love you, miss you.
Love you, miss you. Anyway, I'm also gonna say goodbye. See you guys in a second, I'm sure. But anyway, that was the update. are currently ready and off to where, Michelle? We're headed to our local haunt, Time and Tonic, which I think most associate with vegan cuisine, and to us it's just our local watering hole apparently. It's so true. Where do you go for drinks? And I'm like, what's your favorite bar? I was like, I go to this one vegan eatery. It's literally like a vegan gluten-free eatery. Highly specialized restaurant. We're like, best cocktails in Manhattan. We just have a very specific flavor palette that needs to be satisfied via lavender and also basil. Can you hold this really quickly? I realized that I told Ellis I'd pack their Tupperware and bring 2 pickles. I almost forgot. An update on my end. I just went to Spoke and Wheel in Flatiron and I got a little bit of a haircut. This is the first time in a while that I walked away from a haircut without being traumatized in some way or another. Haircut for like several years. I just got a little trim, and you can't tell, but I had these really weird like sideburn chunks. They were not that needed to be blended. They needed to be blended out with the rest of my hair. So I got that blended, so a little bit more layers. She took some of the weight out of the back and got a little bit of a trim, and then she lightened up my bangs, and then she also added like this longer piece just so that it'll blend a little bit more into the rest of the hair. So if I do want to grow them out, they'll grow out more gracefully. Now when I tuck my hair behind my ear, I won't have this massive gaping gaper. So overall feeling cute, feeling confident. Can't wait to see our friend Veronica. We're also feeling really accomplished because we had a big Brooklyn shoot today, so it feels great to have that off the good old shoulder. Yeah, we're gonna have a little happy hour moment and enjoy the rest of the evening. I'm gonna leave you off there. That's the end of the video. You can keep up with me on Instagram, and as usual, thank you so much for watching. I don't think I have anything else to say. I hope you're all doing really well, and if it's warm where you are, getting some sunshine in. I don't know why the streets have chosen to come alive right this very second, but that's a big motorcycle. Thanks again, I appreciate it, and have a great day. Bye.